Welcome to the Mentor Studio, where today's thought leaders and leading entrepreneurs inspire and bring real-world ideas that help you take your career to levels you've only dreamed of. Now buckle in. Here's your host, Michael Silvers.
Hi, everybody, and welcome to the Mentor Studio. I am Dawna Campbell, and I am the lead trainer for the Mentor Studio, and I am your host today for the Mentor Studio podcast. The vision of the Mentor Studio is designed to educate, enlighten, enrich, and enhance our mentors' experience and expertise. And so I like to invite some of our different mentors to come on and share theirs with the world because it's all about one community, one family, and serving others. So my guest today is William Branum, and he is a 26-year Navy SEAL veteran. So he has led teams ranging from 4 people to 400 across Iraq and Afghanistan, and he is the founder of Naked Warrior Recovery. He's a speaker teaching the Get Naked mindset. He's a leadership and business coach, and he helps leaders lead their teams like a SEAL team. So thank you, William, for being here with me today on the Mentor Studio podcast.
Dawna, thanks for having me on here.
Yes, absolutely. Absolutely. So you went from Navy SEAL to leading business teams. So share with us, how did you do that?
It was not my plan for sure. I had zero intention of ever speaking or coaching or leading or anything like that. I thought, if I got out, I had a plan. I started a company to kind of help companies navigate their way through the military acquisition system, which is very difficult. But what I found out is most people, the companies I was talking to, they didn't like the word consultant. And so I had to kind of rebrand and refigure out what I wanted to do. I had a lot of baggage along the way. And what I discovered is I don't know how to be a civilian, and I don't know how to run a business, and I don't know anything about any of this stuff. So I hired a coach, and then I hired another coach. And through that learning process, they were like, why aren't you coaching people? Why aren't you helping other people lead in business, lead in life, lead in all these other things? You have so much to share. And I was like, I didn't think I had that much to share. And so with enough prodding from people that I was paying, I started my own coaching business. And I also help other organizations coach some of their students as well.
Wow. So going through that process, what would you say would be the number one thing that you learned that you can share with others who might be going through a transition?
I think make a plan. As I've completed my transition, I'm not complete. I don't think I'll ever be complete. I like to say that my transition from the military to becoming a civilian is the hardest military mission I've ever been on. And, when I left the military, I was a little bit in denial that I was going to leave. I thought, this is all I've done my entire adult life. This is what I do. But the military is like, sorry, bro, we got to make room for those young and up and coming SEALs. So you got to get out of the way. So I got out of the way, not happily, but I did it. And what the mistakes that I made is, number one, I was in denial. So I had to come to reality. And to do that, I had to make a plan. What do I actually want to do? Figure out what I want to do, which is not what I'm doing now, but it at least got me pointed in a direction. And so I started going down this road. It wasn't a road I liked being on. So I made some adjustments, and I started a e-com company, Naked Warrior Recovery. And then from there, I have transitioned. I haven't transitioned, but I'm also helping, I have a real world MBA now from business, from successes and failures. I know what works. I know what doesn't work. And I know what works in leadership and what doesn't work in leadership. And I think had I not had a plan, and I wouldn't be where I am now. I had a plan. I executed it. It didn't work out that well. I had lessons learned. Okay, so what do I actually want to do? Maybe I want to sell stuff online. I want to have an e-com brand. And from there, those successes and failures and the coaching that I got, I've transitioned to also doing, speaking and coaching and things like that. Really, the end goal is to help improve other people's lives. I'm an of service person. I spent my entire adult life serving the country, serving the military, and now I'm trying to do it again, just in a different capacity.
Right. So how do you take the skill sets that you learned as a Navy SEAL and apply them into business?
It's helpful that I have my own business to learn from. But, 26 years of leading men and women around the world, I have a lot of experience in what works and what doesn't work. And when I'm talking to a client or I'm talking to a company, the most important thing I can do is not talk, is to listen to what they have to say. And in that listening, they're going to tell me what they may even tell me what the solution is. All I have to do is stay quiet enough and listen to what they're telling me in order to help them develop a plan and navigate what their next, sort of their next right thing is going to be. But I let them guide the conversation for the most part, because, I'll ask some leading questions. And I don't know if anyone that's listening to this has ever taken a polygraph. That's one of the most miserable experiences of my life, I think, even worse than getting beat up while, being a prisoner of war, going to prisoner of war school, because they ask you these leading questions and you have to tell the truth. And they ask you the questions and then they give you time to think about it. Did you lie to your supervisor about being sick once upon a time?
Yeah, probably.
Maybe, probably. And then they hit you with the guilt trip. That you're being entrusted with, national security information and Why, how could you? And so they start counseling you and giving you a hard time. And then they ask you another leading question. It's so they make you feel super guilty about telling the truth. And then you tell more, oh my God. And they're like, oh, your questions are they're not lining up with your answers. So we need to dig into that a little bit more. So I learned a lot from that. Ask leading questions, get the other person talking. It's really an interrogation. At the end of the day, that's really what it is. And then they end up telling you what you actually need to know. And I know that when you and I have had some sessions together, you're like, I need to be a little bit vulnerable. You told me, tell me a little bit of vulnerability, and then we can work on that. But I have to share with you what it is that was bothering me before you could actually help me.
Right. Absolutely. And listening is such a key in communication, and probably one of the biggest skill sets I think that people need to have or to develop, because without listening, you don't understand the customer, you don't understand what their needs are or their wants, or how to really help them and facilitate with that. Before I ask you a couple more questions about your brand, Get Naked, let me ask you this. I know in the Mentor Studio, we have a heart of service, because we're always serving each other, serving other people, coming together as a community. And you talked about having coaches. And now within the Mentor Studio, we're looking at different mentors. So what drew you or attracted you to being a part of the Mentor Studio working with mentors?
I think there's something in the Mentor Studio that I need. So first of all, there are amazing people and mentors who are in the Mentor Studio who come from all different facets of the world and experiences, from speaking on stages to running different companies and doing different things. And just being surrounded, I think Jim Rohn once upon a time said, you're the sum of the 5 people that you surround yourself with. And, as I transitioned out of the military and into civilian life, that, if you've ever seen the movie The Avengers, where Thanos snaps his fingers and half the world's population disappears, that's how I felt. I felt like I lost my purpose, I lost my mission, I'd lost my team. Over time, I've found my new mission and my new purpose, but along the way, I didn't have a team. And so I've been building what I call my new SEAL team. And so the mentors in the Mentor Studio is part of that new SEAL team that I'm building around myself. And because the great thing about being in the SEAL teams is even if I'm in charge, there's so much I can learn from the most junior guy that is on the team. The most important thing I can do as a leader is to ask questions. Hey, how would you guys solve this problem? And once I was brave enough to start doing that, my world opened up. My ability to lead got so much better. And so that's something that the Mentor Studio brings, is just so much knowledge from so many different industries to pour into one another, instead of, one person on stage talking at you. It's everyone is sharing together so that we're all able to grow and build our own brands into the things that we need to do, and providing more of a network. It opens, there's that commercial, I think it was Finesse or something, where it's and she tells 2 people and they tell 2 people and they tell 2 people. And that's kind of what it's like. If you can get out there and you can give in such a way that people want to share what you're sharing, and then they tell two people, and they tell two people. Like your network will just grow exponentially that way.
Right. I remember when I first joined the Mentor Studio, I thought, how cool is this? I can be connected and have connected relationships with different people who will help facilitate me moving forward, growing and expanding my business. But then I get to help them in different ways back to be of service to each other. And I've since then changed my position a little bit, and it's really become like a second family for me, because I know the people, we're great friends, and everybody I meet along the way, it's like, no, you're like my brother and you're like my sister. Let's go do this together. So it's been truly phenomenal that way. So how that works, speaking with business, you have a brand called Get Naked. Now I know Naked is an acronym, but will you share with us really what it means to get naked?
Sure. So what I generally tell people is, my time, 26 years in the military, I've got some baggage, what I call baggage. I've got, maybe some not so awesome relationships. I've got some baggage from that. I've got, maybe childhood trauma or whatever it is. We all have some baggage that we're carrying around. And so what Get Naked is about taking that baggage or that armor that we're wearing around because we've been attacked by whatever it is, society, a family member, trauma in some capacity. And we're always in this sort of defensive mode. We put our armor on to protect ourselves, but we never take that armor off. We never take that baggage that we're carrying around off and set it down and, exposing ourselves, becoming vulnerable so that we can find the healing that we need. And that's really what I mean when I'm talking about getting naked. It's about becoming your authentic self, not the self that you're like hiding behind a mask or hiding behind armor. It's about you becoming your authentic self. And I'll have to tell you that it was like, I've probably been hiding behind some sort of mask or armor my entire life. And it wasn't, and I still do at times, but I'm more aware of it because I talk about it all the time. Like you have to, like, you can lie to yourself, but you really can't, because you really know the truth. And then when you're brave enough to actually tell yourself the truth and then share that truth with other people, that's a superpower. And once you're able to do that, you have no idea how much you will impact other people's lives by sharing some of your trauma, some of those things that you've been hiding behind. And that's really what Get Naked is all about. And then, of course, there's the acronym side of it as well.
Right. Yeah. Will you share with us the acronym?
Yeah. So the acronym, so for Naked, the N stands for never quit. And when I say never quit, I don't mean never quit smoking or drinking. I mean, never quit on yourself, never quit on who you are. If you have, started a goal, a thing that you think could maybe change the world, change your life, impact someone's life, then you should take that thing all the way to the end, no matter what it is or how long it takes. And then I talk about ways that you can never quit, because all the gurus say, oh, never quit. You just got to stick to it. No one tells you how to do it. And so what I tell people is create small victories along the way. Take this massive thing that you're doing, chop it up into bite-sized pieces, things that you can accomplish every single day, and eat one of those things every single day. And I use the analogy from SEAL training. Hell Week is 5.5 days. It seems like, how do you get through that? There's one thing that's constant during that time where you don't sleep, you're cold, you're wet, you're miserable. The instructors just keep you going the whole time. One thing that's constant is they feed you 4 times a day. So no matter what, no matter how bad it sucks, how miserable you are, all you got to do is make it to that next meal. You make it to that next meal, you get to sit down, you get to consume some food, maybe have a little coffee, warm up a little bit, and then start it again, and then go to the next meal and the next meal. And if you just take that and apply that one thing to your life, to whatever the thing that is you're doing, you will be unstoppable. So the N is never quit. The A is accept failure, because failure's been, the biggest teacher of my life for sure. I look at failure as a good thing. Most people, like, they fail at something and they want to hide it. I will take it and I'll put it on the wall as if it's like a trophy. Like, look at what I learned. Look at how badly I failed. That was awesome, because I have so many lessons learned that I'll never do that again. I'll make other mistakes, but I won't make those mistakes again. So I use failure as a foundation for my success. Or if you kind of think about it another way, there's these memes out there where you could also look at failure as like rungs on a ladder. Every time you fail, you just get closer and closer and closer to getting over whatever that obstacle is that's in your way. The K is to kill mediocrity. Let's be honest. We're surrounded by mediocrity every day. How easy is it to make excuses to not work out, to not attack your goals for the day, or to get sucked into your phone, scrolling, social media, or whatever. So the way that we can kill the mediocrity in our life is we can start to compete. And I don't mean compete in like on sports or anything like that, although that's useful. I would say I tell people to compete in small things, like compete in kindness, compete in generosity, compete in gratitude. And when you start competing in those areas and you start winning in those areas, you start competing against your ego, because your ego knows every single thing about you. It knows all the good, it knows all the bad, it knows exactly what to tell you to make you quit and make you mediocre. So what I tell people again is you just have to compete. And once you learn to win the war against your ego, nothing can stop you, and you will make a positive impact on your life and the people around you. The E, it's never quit, accept failure, kill mediocrity. E is expose your fears. And I don't mean lions and tigers and bears. I mean those fears that live in the back of your mind that you don't want to share with anyone. A lot of people go to talk therapy. I'm not one of those people. I say I don't like to talk, but I guess when I get on camera or in front of people, I just like start running off at the mouth. I can't stop myself. Apparently I have a lot of suppression there, but it's really about taking those things that you have suppressed and bringing them into the foreground. And you don't have to do it you can do it by doing things that you're afraid of. Like maybe you have a fear of public speaking, take a public speaking class. Maybe you were bullied as a kid, take a Brazilian jiu-jitsu class for a year. You're going to learn very quickly that the people that you're going into these classes with, they want you to succeed. They want you to get better at the thing that you're afraid of, those fears that you have suppressed. And you're going to learn skills that are going to make you better and give you more self-confidence. And you know what? Those aren't your things. Maybe you just have issues and maybe you don't want to talk to someone. Take a pen and a piece of paper and write down every one of those thoughts that are swirling around in your head that you don't want to share with anyone. Write them down on that piece of paper. And you'll see very quickly that a friend of mine and one of my business coaches, he says that fear does not exist on paper. So once you expose that fear onto paper or into the world, once you put it out there in the world, that fear no longer has control of you. So that's what I mean by expose your fears. And the D is to do the work. And because, in this society of social media and instant gratification and TikTok and all these other things, we forgot what it's like to do the work. We love instant gratification. We love that dopamine hit. And that's what doing the work is all about. Doing the work has very little to do with recognition. It has very little to do with being recognized or, accolades or trophies or anything else. Doing the work is about the grit and the grind, and it's about the goal at the very end. It's that thing that you're trying to achieve. And if you just keep doing the work every single day, you forget about instant gratification. Pretty soon you're there and you were like, holy cow, that was easier than I thought. But when you're like just expecting to be rewarded for mediocre work, isn't going to get you there. It's when you put your head down and you enjoy the process. And lots of people say that, enjoy the process.
Right.
But you got to know kind of, creating those small victories along the way. Do the things that you need to do and doing the work. So it's really getting naked is about taking action. It's never quitting. It's accepting failure. It's killing mediocrity. It's exposing your fears, and it's doing the work.
Wow. I absolutely love it. And that is just sage advice for anybody out there, regardless of what type of business you're in, whether you're a single owner or you own multiple companies. So from never quitting to do it and just get it done. There you go. So as we're wrapping up here, share one thing about you that might be fun or something that we may not know about you.
Let me think. Something fun. I was a sniper instructor when I was in the SEAL teams. Let's see, something else that's kind of weird and interesting. Oh, when I was 15 years old, I was shot while hunting with my great uncle. My great uncle shot me. And so anytime I was in combat, I was never worried about getting shot.
It already happened.
I'm like, oh, we're in like, this is kind of ugly right now, but my odds of getting shot again are way less than yours. So I'm sorry.
Oh my goodness. I don't even want to know and why he even shot you. I was hoping you were wearing orange or something.
Yeah.
Oh my goodness. Wow. All right. What's a favorite book of yours?
Quite a few lately, but I think one that I continue to go back to is Winning by Tim Grover, or the other one that he wrote prior to that. I think Winning is better, actually. I think it's a better book. I think it's more lessons learned, and it is a lot of what I truly believe in doing the work, and there's no instant gratification. And when you hit that pinnacle, like Tim Grover says, there's a bus waiting for you outside when you win that last game of the championship to take you back to hell. And you have to decide whether you want to stay in hell and work your way back into winning, or if you just want to call it quits.
Okay. So besides the get naked, do you have a favorite quote or a motto that you live by?
Maybe if I had a little prep time for that one. I'm not quite ready for that one just yet. I may come up with something before
you might have a new one, and it'd
before we get to the end.
Goal. All right.
So you know what? Here's one that I like to say. I also like to say make bold adjustments.
Okay.
So if you're cruising along in life and you're making these small adjustments and you're never really they're not having the effect that you want them to have, make bold adjustments. Do something that's radically different and see what kind of impact that has on your life. And then you can make small adjustments to come back to where you want them to be. And I've got a whole story behind that. But yeah, I think making bold adjustments are
adjustments. I like that. All right. So how do people connect with you?
To learn more about the Get Naked mindset, go to the website 5sealsecrets.com, the number 5sealsecrets.com. Put your name and email in there. I'll email you a PDF of this Get Naked mindset. It's got some cool pictures in there also. You can follow me on Instagram at william.r.branum or at Naked Warrior Recovery. I have Facebook and LinkedIn and some other stuff. I don't know that I'm William Branum. Pretty easy to Google. If you're interested in CBD, nw-recovery.com, Naked Warrior Recovery for high quality CBD products, or you can
say military strength.
Yes, military strength, Navy SEAL military strength. Exactly.
Perfect. Awesome. Well, thank you so much. It's been a pleasure having you.
Thank you for having me
with us at the Mentor Studio and the Mentor Studio podcast. So reach out to William, ask your questions, grab his products, and why not just get naked?
We're honored that you invested time with us today at the Mentor Studio. Now, don't be greedy. Share this knowledge bomb with all your dope peeps on Facebook, Instagram, and Snapchat. Actually, we'll even pay you to do it. To get the deets, please check out thementorsstudio.com.